Good morning, Bill.
Good morning. How are you?
Well, better than you. They can hit the right button.
I tell you what, it is an exciting day. I mean to tell you, I have been up, I don't know since when. I didn't go to bed since I don't know when, and I have hit every button wrong all night long, even with my wife. I was sitting on the sofa this last night, and got home from this big meeting and got home, and she says, Bill, I said, yeah. She said, it's time to go to bed. And I said, no. Well, you've been asleep about 30 minutes. And I said, no, I haven't. I've been watching. What, you turned the TV off. She said, yeah, it's time to go to bed. And this morning she says, Bill. And I said, what? It's time to get up. And I said, so, you okay? And I said, yeah, I'm okay. My gosh, oh, yeah, it is. It's past time to get up. Manic Monday on a Tuesday, folks. I tell you what. Glad to have y'all here this morning. Oh, gosh. Every once in a while you have those days, I guess, but I can't remember the last time I fell asleep on the sofa and had to be woke up in the morning, even though my phone alarm clock went off at the normal time. And she says, I just reached over and turned it off. Thought I'd let you sleep a little longer. Then we both fell back to sleep. So, oh, well, that's the way it is in the West sometimes. Glad to have y'all here this morning, though. I hope y'all are glad I finally got here. Oh, gosh. Well, I tell you what. Whoa-wee. I am going crazy. I mean, I had so many things going yesterday, so many people talking to me about so many things. And then last night we had this great meeting at the Florence County Republican meeting. State Attorney General Alan Wilson was there and had a very good presentation. We talked a little while after it. Then he called me back on the cell phone. We talked a little bit longer. And I'll be calling his office today. Matter of fact, set up an appointment for him to be joining us on the show here in the very near future. I'm glad to announce that. One good guy. And so those are just some of the things we're working on right here at In the Pickle Barrel. But first of all, I do want to welcome all of you for being here. Thank you all for being here on time and being patient. And I just want to say, folks, that we do have a lot to talk about, so we're going to get into it. Just a couple of very short things on this day in history, and we'll move on. I don't want to get out of the habit of my history. I love my history, and I know some of you say, yeah, it's old stuff. Guess what? One of these days, they're going to be talking about us old stuffy things, too, I hope. Okay, let's see here. Oh, Lordy. 1864, the Confederate raider Tallahassee captured 6 federal ships off of New England. Never heard of that battle before. In 1872, the first ballot voting in England conducted. 1872. Folks, think about that. That's a long time not to have a ballot. And England, for the very first time, had an election. In 1914, the Panama Canal opens for traffic. 1935, American comedian and cowboy philosopher. If you don't know who that is, you're not old enough you haven't paid attention to history. Will Rogers dies in an airplane accident, along with American aviator pioneer Wiley Post. It'd be interesting to go back and just check and see how many famous people, politicians, artists, music people. Oh my gosh, the number of music people that died in the early 50s. And so going back and forth and flying, it's unreal. We'll do that one day. 1942, the Japanese submarine I-25 departs Japan for the float plane in its hold, which will be assembled upon arriving off the west coast of the United States and used to bomb U.S. forests. Well, that never happened, but it was intended to be. There's a lot of intentions that never happened, isn't there? 1945, gasoline and fuel oil rationing ends in the United States. It was limited there during World War II, rationed. Remember when we had rationing back in the 70s? I bet you some of you don't remember that. 1947, Britain grants independence to India and Pakistan. 1969. By gosh, I wasn't there, but I sure wanted to be. Over 400,000, let me clarify that. Young people attend this weekend rock music fest at this little place in New York called Woodstock. Woodstock. Some good music came out of there. Some good video came out of there. 1971, U.S. President Richard Nixon announces a 90-day freeze on wages and prices in the attempt to halt a rapid inflation. And like some other people, in 1986, ignoring objections from Ronald Reagan's administration, U.S. Senate approves economic sanctions against South Africa to protest that country's apartheid policies. Makes you wonder if anybody overseas ever thought about boycotting us because of some of our policies, doesn't it? I mean, everybody just shut us down. No trade, no nothing. Wonder what would happen. That'd be kind of a scary thing, I think. 2001, astronomers announced the first solar system discovered outside our own. 2 planets have been found orbiting a star in the Big Dipper. Haven't heard anything about that since then, but I do remember that. Some famous people born on this date. I bet you some of them I can name. You don't even have to know what they did or who they were. Napoleon Bonaparte. 1804, 1815, he was the Emperor of France and military leader. Sir Walter Scott, who wrote the novels Ivanhoe and Rob Roy. T.E. Lawrence in 1888, better known as Lawrence of Arabia, for his military exploits against the Turks in World War I. Julia Child, American chef and television personality. Loved that show. 1912. Stephen Breyer, 1938, Supreme Court Justice. Some of you may not recognize this. Dave, do you recognize this name? Jimmy Webb.
I think so.
Don't think so.
Yeah, no.
MacArthur Park. By the time I get to Phoenix.
There you go.
Yeah, famous songwriter. Ed Gillespie, U.S. Republican political strategist and White House counsel to George W. Bush. And those are some of the things and people that took place on this day in history. Folks, I tell you what, we got a lot to talk about today. I don't know what it was about me yesterday. I was feeling kind of spunky, kind of tired, kind of agitated, all at the same time, which is not normal for me. I know y'all think so here on the show, it may be, but it's really not. I'm usually in a pretty good mood. But I was not in that good mood yesterday, and it lingered on and on and on. And maybe that's why I was so tired last night and went to bed. You know, it's tiring to be angry and mad all the time. And yesterday I just never could get over some of the things that had been going over the last couple of days and some of the things we talked about yesterday. And I don't know what it was, but it was gnawing at me all day. You know, just like the hate groups that are out there. And, you know, yesterday, you know, Donald Trump came out and names the hate groups by name, folks. So get off his case. He did what you wanted. He went down the ABC list and named them off for you. As if you didn't have common sense enough to know who and what he was talking about. He did, I guess, what everybody wants him to do is spell it out. ABC, 1, 2, 3, you and me. You know, I guess that's what everybody needs to have now. It's got to be all spelled out. But he came out and did his just duty, I guess, and named all these hate groups for you so you would know who he was talking about. You know, he bowed under pressure, as the press said. He bowed under the pressure from the right and left to explain what some dumb, ignorant people couldn't figure out. I don't get it. Folks, look here. I'd take my hat off, but the glare would be too much. But right between these ears here, there's this little thing in there, and some of you have a little tiny thing in there. There's a thing in there called the brain. How about using it sometime, huh? How about using the brain and the little thing that's right in here called the heart? You know, if people use these two things and put them together, 1 + 1 = too many happy people, I guess. I guess that's the only way you explain it. You know, forget this, operate with half of this, you got it made. I think that's the way people got to run these days. For them to operate and to have a life at all, they got to forget the heart and use half of that thing that's in their brain, if they even do that, and it makes life good for them. Kind of miserable for the rest of us, but I guess they're happy with that. Happy being not happy? Ugh, what a terrible feeling. Well, anyway, he spelled it all out. Now, I think he had to do it. I think his own staff probably. Now, I don't know this for sure, but I would assume that his own staff got to the point where they said, all right, Mr. T, it's time for us. I've never used that term with him, Mr. T. I like that. President T. I guess they thought it was about time for him to bow to the pressure, at least a bitty, teeny, weeny part, bow to the pressure and say, hey, look, I'd hereby brand the KKK, neo-Nazis, and white supremacists who take part in violence as criminals and thugs. Well, that's what he did. So just in case you didn't know that, I'm sorry?
He lied.
He lied? When was that a lie?
None of the ones he named were involved.
Well, that's beside the point. You're not supposed to know that. This is what people wanted to hear.
Not only do I know that, Bill, I actually have a testament today I will share if you let me.
Please do.
An eyewitness who on location. All right, this is from one of the gentlemen who was there, and please listen to the words very carefully because they pulled the same exact stunt during the Occupy Wall Street days, and I'm talking about law enforcement and local government officials. There's a lot of backstory here that the people are not being told. Of course, mainstream media will never tell you what's really going on. And let me show you how this all builds up and why my real issue, and I can't believe last night that gentleman was denied bail. This guy should be set free. If he's going to have to get that venue changed from Charlottesville area to be released. And the public's going to flip out when this guy gets off without even a slap on the wrist. Because what he did was self-defense and allowed by Virginia law. He broke no law. I'm sorry that woman got killed. However, it was their own fault. And nobody deserves to die in that manner, but still, it was their own stupidity. And the law backs the gentleman who was driving the car.
Dave, just for the sake of curiosity, I'm going to let you go on with this, but I've got some questions already. So you can carry on, then we're going to discuss it.
Yeah, that was just my opening opinion. Here's the actual confession. The police and mayor ignored the federal judge's order to allow us to hold a rally. A half hour before our actual event started, the police told us it was an unlawful assembly, and if we did not leave, we'd be arrested. So right there, step number one in the first paragraph there, boom. Cops are wrong, and just following orders doesn't fly here. And the ACLU, by the way, this is my comments, the ACLU has already came out and said they are already filing lawsuits this morning against the local politicians and the officers. These people are going to hang, and I can't wait for it to happen. Continue with the comment. The riot police then came into our assigned area from the north by opening up their barricade and pushing us out through the south entrance. Now, that is the only entrance/exit, and straight into Antifa. If we tried to stay, we got riot shielded, gassed, and maced. So, when they almost immediately began attacking us, it turned into having to fight our way out into the streets. The cops then kept us from leaving as a group by blocking the entrance and only letting smaller groups out at a time. We then got word that a state of emergency has been declared and they'd arrest us if we assembled anywhere in a group. I'm going to pause there. What does that mean? How many people make up a group? They never give you a clear number. Again, it's just another scam for revenue collection and the way this nonsense takes place. I'll continue. All the meanwhile, Antifa was with and had actual weapons, not just flagpoles and self-defense shields like us. They had metal bats, wooden clubs, metal pipes, mace, bear spray, which I don't know what that is, rocks, etc. We had to fight them back to clear a hole, even with the gas-filled lungs, mace, etc. Antifa and the counter-demonstrators weren't dispersed, and they did not have a permit to be there. We did. They were given 2 counter-demonstration areas, one at Justice/Tesla Park and one at the McGuffey Park, but still came right up to ours. We had to trek on foot 1.8 miles back to McKinney Park, parked to our vehicles because we shuttled ourselves in so we wouldn't get our vehicles wrecked. The police did not allow our guys with vans to come and shuttle us back, nor did they release us in a direction to keep us separate or safe. It was a complete setup, so a state of emergency could be declared and effectively shut down all our events that day. We were even given the orders to leave Charlottesville while the counter-demonstrators were allowed to roam and boast in the streets, obviously leading to them being out on the street and smacking up that guy's car, who then stepped on the gas to get out of there. Now, I'm going to pause there because that's the one I'm talking about. There is video proof evidence. The guy was standing still in his car, not bothering anybody. He was attacked. Virginia law allows you to hit the gas and get the hell out of there. On another account, he then had rear-ended another vehicle, which impacted another vehicle. So there was three cars involved. He was the one who made the initial impact. The rioters had continued to chase his vehicle down and coming after them with blood in their eyes. He put it in reverse and got the hell out of there. Hey, 19 people got hurt. 1 person got killed. If you idiots weren't in the damn streets, weren't protesting illegally without a permit, and didn't cause this issue to begin with, you wouldn't have gotten hurt, moron. And this guy needs to be set free immediately.
Oh, Lordy.
In fact, the Virginia law allowed him to do exactly what he did.
Oh, Lord,
Okay,
Lord.
Continue with the eyewitness.
Uh-huh.
If he didn't, he may have ended up just like Reginald Denny in the LA riots of 92.
Yeah.
Now remember, folks, like I said earlier, this is an ongoing issue. They pulled the same exact BS during Occupy Wall Street event, where they had everybody in an enclosed area. They closed off the gates, let everybody only go out the one gate, and they tried to shut them down. All right, there was a little less violence during that days, though. And the officers actually caused the issue. A riot, this is my opinion still going here. The riots, for those who don't know, because again, how quickly we forget history. The riots that took place during this exact same stunt that the officers pulled at Charlottesville, that was pulled during Occupied Wall Street. They pushed them out a further end of the gate, okay, another end of the park that we were in demonstrating. They caught 5 plain clothes, dressed in black with ski masks on originally, officers, police officers that actually were throwing the first rocks to start the riot. They were caught on camera. They were cornered. Their masks were removed. They were identified and all sued. And as far as I know, hopefully not only did they lose their job, they're sitting in some prison somewhere. But of course, nobody's talking about that.
Yeah.
It's not an uncommon event. The law enforcement starts this shit.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And continue now with this eyewitness account. We're almost to the end, Bill.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm listening. I'm soaking all this trash in.
We didn't show up looking for a fight. We just knew that we had to show up adequately equipped to defend ourselves, as Antifa always attacks any right-wing rally. Just look at Portland 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Philly, Berkeley, etc.
Yeah.
We never go to their demonstrations. They only come to ours with the sole intent on starting violence and getting it shut down.
Yeah.
Antifa is the scum of the earth, and any right-winger who bashes on us for what happened on Saturday needs to do some serious self-examination.
Yeah.
For the record, only a handful of morons showed up with Nazi stuff, and they were told over and over again prior to the rally to leave that stuff at home. Once they got there, wasn't much to do. What, are we going to kick them out and punish them and push them, into Antifa? No, that would be unconscionable. The mayor and police response to this was clearly a setup. It became real on a different level to experience such a setup by the state and to be portrayed this way in the media because they're afraid of letting you speak and wake others up to our disposition. They put us in serious danger. Luckily, it wasn't our guys who died because of it.
Yeah. End of that statement. Been
contacted by ACLU and is going to be involved in this. There are, like I said, as of this morning, there's probably several, and I expect dozens more lawsuits come down the pike as all this video evidence is being gathered up.
Yeah.
This is what government does to you people.
Yeah.
This is what they do.
Yeah.
Then we see these little group over there in North Carolina who pulled down the statue. You got video evidence of all that. Are any of those people going to get arrested? Probably not, although they all should be. Destruction of private property, well, of public property, it's a felony. They all need to be locked up and put in prison.
Okay.
But again, it's all because of lack of education.
All right. Well, we're going. Let's separate those two for just a second, okay? Because those are two totally separate, different incidents. On your first one, even if what you said is true. Now, I'm just going to sit here and we're going to hypothesize. We're going to look at this and just ask some simple questions. Even if all that you said was true, okay? Now, I'm going to sit here and I want to pretend that it is true because, by gosh, it came from that side as an eyewitness. Although I saw the vehicle myself plowing through the car, the people. That was that person's foot that went on that accelerator, not the police, not anybody else. It was his foot that did that. It was his arms that steered the steering wheel. And I guess he had no fault at all in this project at whatsoever. The police, I bet you they sent him some drugs to take overnight that caused him to have these thoughts about being there and participating in this and all that. So, I'll bet you I can read somewhere somebody said that and they saw him take those drugs. I'll bet you. That eyewitness, bar none, every word he said was probably true. So, I'm not going to attack his true vision of what he saw or what he says he saw. I mean, if he said it, it's got to be true. Just like the media. Anything the media puts in the paper is true. So I guess everything this group is saying is true too. So we'll have to let the courts settle that. I think that would probably where it might end up going anyway. Don't you, Dave?
Absolutely. This
okay.
is going to go down to the court.
Okay.
And as far as that gentleman, it was his foot on there. Virginia law allowed him to do that. He was not even there as being part of the protest. He was.
Yeah. Whoa! There's video of him in the protest. There's video. I saw that myself on TV. The video. They showed the video of him in different areas.
Oh, okay, when he was walking around before he got to his car, in other words.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a terror attack. And even if it was an intentional act, okay, let's say it was an intentional act, all right? And he set out to say, screw it, I'm going to run over these people. Guess what, folks? Virginia law allows that.
God bless America. Virginia law allows someone to plow into a bunch of people that are protesting in the middle of the road.
Yep, they sure do, and that's not the only state that allows it. We have it here in Florida too, and I would do the same damn thing.
Some reason, Dave. Some reason, I believe you just might. I believe you just might.
If I fear that my life is in danger and there's people attacking my car, trying to pull my car out,
and why would you put yourself in the? Why would you intentionally put yourself? Why would you intentionally put yourself in harm's way to start with?
I don't follow the protest stuff. If I just showed up in an area and didn't know there was a protest or anything going on, and I'm stuck in traffic. This
guy did not realize there was a protest. He could not see all those people in the road. He could not find an alternate route.
Bill, when you're surrounded by a bunch of people, there is no alternate route. Okay.
Well, first of all, I think I'd avoid an area where I feel like I might put myself in harm's way or put my vehicle in a surrounded situation like that. I bet you there was other roads to get around to where he wanted to go.
Hey, I don't know that. All I know is he was attacked first.
Well,
the law allowed him to do what he did.
Okay.
That's the only part of this I know.
So he plowed into a group, wounded several, killed one lady, and it was all in the idea of self-defense because he put himself in that position and got cornered and panicked.
So?
Okay. Well, I see. I mean, my gosh, I think you ought to get. I think the guy should get a Purple Heart. I mean, let's face it. He was, yeah. Let's give the guy a perfect heart, and I think that maybe his bus may be the next one that goes on a monument. Yep, I bet his bus needs to be the next one to go up in a monument right there on that corner. It says this guy stood up for whatever he was believing in at the time. Okay. I told everybody it was going to be a manic Monday on a Tuesday. Oh, I just had that inkling. Little birdie. Matter of fact, I bet you the mainstream media played something through my cell phone last night that was tickling my brain and caused me to do this. By God, I'm going to sue them. I know that's what happened. I want to sue Apple for allowing it to happen.
The point is really, though, in all this, the same thing when they blocked the roadways, that major highway there.
Yes.
One of the Trump events there.
Yes.
Tried to pull all that. If I was those front cars, I'd run them people over.
Yeah.
That's the law. It is illegal to block the flow of traffic.
Yeah.
Now, if the gentleman went up on a sidewalk and intentionally drove down the sidewalk, that guy needs to be hung in the public square. But that's not what happened. He never left the roadway. Protesters that blocked the street, especially when there was no permit involved, those idiots, right? They didn't have a permit. The other group did. All right. Every single one of them that were in the streets blocking the roadway deserved to be run over.
Well, Dave, I tell you what, guy, I will never. It's none of my business anyway, but I will never ask if you ever smoke marijuana, the wacky weed, because I think the evidence proves you do. Or I have. Oh, Lord. See, folks, we can have conversations that we don't disagree with and still have fun. Matter of fact, it turns it into a lot of fun. Well, anyway, whether or not
evidence coming in every hour,
yeah,
more and more video coming through constantly,
yeah,
and the mainstream media, of course, is not going to play it.
Yeah.
They're going to play their spin of it to make it all evil.
Yeah.
They made Trump come out and blame the so-called white supremacists,
Yeah.
KKK, and the rest, and none of them had anything to do with the riots and the violence.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I hope.
And it was only a small handful of them.
Yeah.
And none of them were involved with any of the fighting or anything.
Yeah. All right, folks, you're going to hear it first right here in the Pickle Barrel. I just want to advise you that within the next 6 months, there will be a ceremony, and this young man will be presented with the Gold Medal of Honor by the President. And oh God, I would poop in my pants. You know, I was listening to Candy's show yesterday afternoon, and she may have another story about poop when I poop in my pants when he gets that gold medal. Get that pooper scooper out, Candy.
The bottom line is there's many states out there that have had enough of this protester BS, and you have the right to run them over.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what.
The law.
I want to.
The law changed the law, but currently he broke no law. He's going to get a slap on the wrist. He shouldn't get that. He should have been set free last night, but they denied him bail.
Yeah, I know.
Now, of course, they'll use the excuse, I'm sure, that, well, it was for his own safety, because if they let him out, the public would kill him.
Yeah.
You know,
well, it's very nice of him to think of his health. Okay.
Like I said, you don't know what you're going to respond until you're in that situation. And
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You know, I feel little to no sympathy. And if it just technically happens to be that woman was in a legal crosswalk, Neil, guess what? Just because there's a crosswalk painted on the ground, if you got a crowd of 100 people blocking the whole roadway, that crosswalk.
It don't matter, Neil, if she was legal.
It doesn't matter if she was ran over in that crosswalk or not. And if she was hitting the crosswalk, that proved the guy was in the street and not on a side.
Oh, gosh. I tell you what, we've turned from politics to comedy. Oh, Lordy. Lordy.
I mean, this is how terrible this stuff's got.
Yes, it is. It's downright terrible.
Liberals are so far out of control. They need to be reeled in.
Yeah.
But along with bringing universities and the law enforcement and the local governments and all the rest that are pulling this BS on people.
Yeah.
The only reason we have this issue, just like with anything with these Confederate, the flag, the Confederate statues, and all the rest.
Yeah.
Because people don't know the truth.
Yeah.
If you knew the truth, you wouldn't have this issue.
Oh, the truth will set you free or get you run over.
That's right.
Oh, Dave, I tell you, I really do. I don't know what hybrid you're on, but by God, it must be good. Okay.
Here, I just looked up. Here's a perfect example of what's going on. Okay? I don't know what the story is. I just happened to look up at the television. Government sues man for plowing his own land.
Well, that's a totally different story.
$5,000 fine the guy got in freaking Georgia for growing too many damn carrots.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now that's whoa. First of all, that's a totally different topic, totally different subject, but it is an example of governance getting where they need not be. And I Dave, y'all hear it right here. Now I agree with Dave on that one. Okay. God dang, earthworm shouldn't have been in the way. Now he's fertilizer. I ran over him. He was in my path. I cut him in half with the blades of the plow. Okay. Sorry. Okay.
It wasn't that funny. It's
Huh?
not a laughing matter. What this government is doing is far from a laughing matter.
No, what the government's doing in so many different areas is not a laughing matter. And that's the reason the end of the Pickle Barrel exists, so we can talk about these topics and these issues. But Dave, and this is not pointed directly at you, although I do have 5 fingers. You hold them up, they do point in various different directions, don't they? East, west, north, northeast, north, south, whatever direction you hold your hand. Sometimes, when you're pointing fingers at people, remember, if you're just pointing at one finger forward, you have at least 3 of them pointing back at you. And if you follow the arc of the thumb, if you have your thumb straight up in the air, it eventually comes back at you. So anytime you point the finger at somebody and cast blame, remember, none of us are perfect, that we ourselves make mistakes every single day. So intentional or not, self-defense or not, I don't know how you're going to explain it in court, but Dave, it's going to be interesting, and I wish that you lived there so you could be called to that jury. That would be an interesting jury to sit on. Okay. All right.
Amazing. Never let me sit on a jury. So.
I wonder why.
I've been called down.
Oh, mercy.
Come down, do your jury.
Yeah.
Called into the box.
Yeah.
The first round, I'm always let go. I wonder why.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've sat on 2, and neither one of them made it to court. They settled out of court before we were called. And, I don't mind going. I think that's our duty as individuals to serve on jury duty. If you want fair and equal justice, if you want a trial by jury, then by gosh, they got to have jury members. And, I think it's everybody's duty to do just that. You can always find a way to get out of it if you want to, but I say if you're called, do it. Matter of fact, when I was doing the call for the jury, the lady called me and said, there's no duty. You don't need to show up to court. They've been settled. And I said, well, keep my name on the list because I'd be honored to serve. She says, you are volunteering to serve on a jury? Well, we don't hear that every day. I bet they don't. So anyway. Oh, okay. Well, anyway, Donald Trump did come out and he hit the everybody out there. And he denounced the violence. And now everybody's saying, well, it's a good thing he did, but he took his sweet time to do it. You see, you just can't make nobody happy no matter what, okay? That's the way that goes. All right. Going on around the corner, like I said, there's a lot of stuff to talk about this morning. And, speculation. One more thing real quick. I have mixed emotions about the people in D.C., fellow Republicans in one aspect. Of course, we know the Democrats would, but I'm kind of disappointed in the Republicans for all the pressure that they put on Trump to more clarify his stance on who he was condemning in his little speech. It was quite obvious to me what he was saying. Now then, I kind of think out of the box sometimes. If no one's ever realized that, I don't go right down that narrow line. I kind of think out of the box sometimes. And what I heard from him should have sufficed no matter who he was talking about, in my humble opinion. And for the other conservatives, I won't say others because he's not really, I don't think, but for the conservatives that put the pressure on him to do that, I think that they just fell in line to get on the record, to get their names in there, that they were taking a stand, blah, 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 blah. Now then, I don't know. I remember the Ferguson riots. And I actually, by the fact, folks, I actually tried to make my way there to go on scene to do interviews, etc. And there's just no way to get through. I guess I could have plowed through the crowd, After all, they were blocking the way. You know, I don't know about if it had been legal there. It probably, yeah. Well, it was, wasn't it? So anyway, but I wanted to do that. I wanted to get in there, and afterwards, I thought, you know, why would you do something so stupid? You know, why would you do something so stupid? My wife even said it was stupid. She's never said I was stupid, but she said that was stupid. And I think she might be saying I was, but she was saying the action was. But anyway, either way, it didn't work out. Okay. Anyway. All right. So anyway, the Republicans put pressure on Trump and to do that, and he did. And so I don't know if that made them happy or not happy because it got more bad press from it. From you know, they just about shut up about it, and then he comes out and does that, and he's got more press, and now, you know, they got more press too. That was their plan, so they can come back out and say, see, we can make him do what we want. That's what it was. That's what it was. Okay. Banyan. There's money going around. There's bets being made that Banyan is the next one out. You know, he has kind of been pushed aside a little bit here recently. And we're talking in Murdoch, good old Rupert Murdoch, in his position of power, has over and over again has tried to get Trump to get rid of him. Scaramucci, whatever his name is, has tried to get him to get rid of him. And for months, I think, according to different people, it appears to me kind of obvious from listening to them that Trump has considered doing it. And with all the extra pressure coming in, and with the media, sometimes I want to choke saying that word, but the media, with all of them out there, it may be time that he do that, get rid of another person. And I don't know, and I haven't, I guess someone has done the studies on this, but I don't know in my lifetime if I can remember another president having so many people in and out so quickly in one term, in the first few days, first few months of his term. I don't know if I can remember that ever taking place the way it is now. It may have, I just don't remember it. Well, if he does, I think it'll be another one of these things. You wake up one morning and say, oh, by the way, during the night, so-and-so disappeared from sight. Ooh, during the night, so-and-so disappeared from sight. That's a poet. Didn't know it. But anyway, I think despite all this, though, I think Banyan still talks with Trump on a regular basis. I know that if you look in some of the video of things going on, you'll see both of them together. Now, not all the way is he standing beside him, not all the ways is he talking to him, but he's in the photo anyway, right? So, but my question is, who are they going to put in there? Who are they going to put in there? You know, you got to have someone that knows what they're doing if you want to be the chief strategist for the White House. I mean, you got to have some chutzpah about you. You got to have some knowledge. And so it's going to be interesting to see who throws in there this time. I'm sorry, I didn't say throw, did I? Who he brings into that site, that position that can booster his cabinet and do the things that need to be done, the things that Trump wants to be done. So we'll see how that takes place. But anyway, it does sound like he may be out. Okay. Dave, you brought up the media earlier, and I'm going to have to wet my whiskers here a minute. You brought this up a while ago, the media. Again, I get a question yesterday. Came in. Actually didn't come in. It was at the GOP meeting last night. Bill, now I know you are media. You have been in the media. You are media. But don't you think it's about time that the media quit trying to destroy Trump? Folks, it's been time for them to stop that a long time ago. But look at me. I'm serious. No joke here. They're not going to stop. Period. Exclamation mark. They're not going to stop. If they stop that, their jobs, their income would take a hit. I mean, some of these people are getting more stories printed than they ever have in such a short period of time. They're getting more ads in the newspaper. I mean, you look at the Times, some New York Times, and some of these others. You know, they got full page after full page after full page of sponsor-paid political ads now bashing Trump. I have not looked at, because I'm afraid I would pass out with the price of a full-page ad in the Times, New York Times. I'm afraid to find out what a full-page ad would cost. But they are bringing in tons of money, and believe me, they need it. So anything goes. Right now, anything goes in the newspaper, in the media. You know, I'm a member of the Society of Professional Journalists. And God bless that group. I swear, I love them to death. They are out there trying to offset the garbage that's going on. They are fighting like crazy for First Amendment rights, freedom of the press. And but they're doing it in a manner that is respectful. They are doing it in a manner that brings pride, in my opinion, pride to that organization. And every day I get updates on things that are going on from them and by them, and it makes me proud to be part of it. But then I turn around and I look at the god dang stuff that some of these other people are doing and think, where is your professionalism, jerk-offs? Excuse me, I did say that, didn't I? Where is your professionalism? Where is your honesty? Where is your truth in reporting? Oh, that's right. You don't report anymore. You create reports. You create stories, not reports, folks. You create stories. You manifest this idea, and then you go out and you find the people, and you find the photos, you find the videos that can substantiate what you want to write, and that is your idea of media, good media. You know, sometimes I want to say I'm ashamed to be part of the media, but I'm not. I'm proud. I am proud to be part of the media. And as long as I live, I hope I have the ability to separate my own personal feelings from the truth. And hopefully my personal feelings fall in line with the truth. The problem is these days it's getting so hard to separate truth from fiction, facts from lies. It's just becoming so difficult to do that. It's unreal. And as you know, if I go through and I'm doing a report or something like that, and I said something wrong and I find out about it, I'll come back and say, oh, by the way, the other day I was talking about so-and-so, so-and-so, and I made this comment, and I was wrong. I found information, someone provided me information, and I was wrong. Now, let me ask you, when's the last time you've seen some of these big media types come out and say, I was wrong? I was wrong. Not that long ago, I said they would not do that, and they are not doing that. They will not admit they're wrong. Unless they print something out there that says 5 times President Trump did this and blah, 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 blah. And then if they find out it was 6 or 7 times, they'll come back and admit they were wrong. They'll say, update. Updates usually mean, folks, they did something wrong. They've missed that, and so they're bringing it in. And if they have a correction, they may make a correction on page whatever, and it'll be a little one-liner so small you can't read it. But they did correct it. Dave says the anchor, same thing. The anchor is never wrong. The teleprompter was wrong. They just read what was there. And oh my gosh, that is something that I hate. I hate. Yes. They use teleprompters. Yes, it's a wonderful tool. Yes, I have used it before myself. But I use it for an outline. I refuse to read something someone gives me and says, this is what you talk about. And folks, that's what I like about American Patriot Radio. Each and every one of us that have a program on this network has the ability to have their own show, the ability to have their own opinions, their own context. Content. It is just that. It is us talking to you. We don't have somebody in this ivory tower or this secret room telling us what to say, how to say it, when to say it. And if we're wrong, we're wrong. If we're right, we're left alone. We're left alone anyway to wallow in our own misery, which I appreciate that. Every once in a while, someone will come in and say, now, Bill, you were wrong on that. This is what happened. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. But Bill Pickle sometimes, folks, if y'all haven't realized it, sometimes speaks in sarcasm. Sometimes Mr. Sarcastic is, someone told me they're going to give me a t-shirt. Matter of fact, I said Mr. Sarcastic. I'm still waiting on that t-shirt. And this person listens quite frequently, by the way. Where's my t-shirt? But anyway, that's what it's about. Dave and I, you heard us earlier, right off the bat. I mean, bam, 30 seconds in the show, if that long. We got into it. Did he agree with everything I was saying? No. Did I agree with everything he said? Hell no. But, Dave, we're still talking, aren't we? Of course. I had to wait there for a minute. I thought he wasn't. Of course.
Just got in a minute ago from the bus road.
Oh, okay. And we will disagree on some more things, I'm sure, won't we? Absolutely. See there? But listen to us. I bet you both of us still have a smile on our face when we're talking about this because we know what's coming. We accept the fact that we do not agree on everything. But one thing we do agree on is the American people have the right to make up their own mind. Now, some of us are dumber than the others. Some people are smarter than others. But either way, when you read the media, when you watch the media, when you dream about media, Just remember, you do not have to accept anything and everything they say is truth and gospel. You have the right, and God bless you, I hope you have the ability to decipher the truth from the wrong. Okay, gosh. Now, some of you, I'm sure, think the media should be out there trying to destroy Trump. There's no doubt in my mind that evidence is there every blasted day. They're out there to destroy Trump. And there's no doubt there's some out there that are absolutely out there trying to support Trump. And I think that's what makes it such a wonderful, wonderful world we live in. That we do have the ability to disagree. And we have the ability to agree to disagree. And by God, one of these days we may have the ability for all of us, or at least the majority of us, agree on most things. Wouldn't that be novel? All right. Well, I tell you what, we're at the top of the hour, and I've got to get something to drink. My voice is starting to crack. Okay, we'll be right back here in the Pickle Barrel. Don't run off. We got a lot more to talk about. We've just scratched the surface. So, Dave, take her away, and we'll be right back here in the Pickle Barrel. In the meantime, excuse my voice, I want you to pick up the phone, pick up your iPhone, get Skype or something, 712-770-4160. That's to call in and talk to yours truly and everybody around the world that's listening. That's the way you get in to talk to us. When you make that number, 712-770-4160, put in the PIN number 263151 pound. And then wait just a couple of minutes as we come back from break. Hit *6, and by gosh, you'll be on air live, and you too have just jumped in the Pickle Barrel, and we'll let you share your opinions and thoughts and get into our roundtable discussions. We'll be right back here in the Pickle Barrel. Just 2 or 3 minutes, Dave. Bye-bye. We'll be right back. Good morning, and welcome back. We are in the Pickle Barrel, and glad to have you here with us. Appreciate you jumping here with us. We're all trying to find a way to get out of this proverbial pickle barrel we're in, and hopefully talking together, working together, listening together. Perhaps we can find a way to change the direction that so many people feel like we're going down the tubes, you might want to say. But, you know, I found out a long time ago, no task is done unless you begin the task. And right now, we got a lot of people out here around us that every single blasted day. We see people that love to complain, love to gripe, love to kind of rhymes with itch. That's all they want to do is complain. And folks, I'm going on record and asking each and every one of you to do more than just scream and shout and complain. How about trying to become part of a team, part of an organization, part of a group, if need be, a part of a political party? How about trying to be part of the problem solvers instead of a problem maker? How about using your talent, your abilities that you're, I'm going to use this term lightly, using on Facebook every day? How about turning those condemnations and very, very irritating comments that some of you put out there? How about using your talents and your heart to try to do good instead of just complain? Try to find a way, jump in here and help everybody try to find a way to get out of this proverbial pickle barrel and make things better. Again, some of the things that you can do, I hear every friggin' day, every second, anytime I'm on Facebook or Twitter or anywhere, I see people condemning politicians. One way you can solve that issue, if you don't like those politicians, get enough people together to get them out of office. If you don't like them, how about maybe running for that seat yourself? Commitment. Whoa. Hardship. Whoa. It comes with some few fringe benefits. We're going to be talking about those in the near future too. But folks, look, we all have to make a difference, and we all can make a difference. We just got to do it. All right? There you go. Okay, well, we've been talking about a lot of crazy things today. As I posted earlier, I'm feeling a manic Monday on a Tuesday, and that's not a good sign. That means there's a lot of stuff going on, and we're going to start talking about some more of them right now. First of all, I do want to share last night's meeting. I was at the Florence County, the county where I live in South Carolina. I was at the Florence County GOP meeting last night. State Attorney General Alan Wilson was there, and he was speaking, and I tell you what, he was on a roll. He was slamming corruption probe reports. He was slamming so many different areas. He was out there talking about some of the issues that are surrounding ourselves, and he was talking about the recent woes of a report that indicates he sought to help 2014 from Quinn to edit a letter that would have dismissed independent prosecutors, Circuit Solicitor David Pascal, from any future prosecutions related to State House corruption. And he said, no. He said no. Now, what all this came about was when former House Speaker Bobby Harrell was in the being probed, looking at using misuse of campaign funds. He said, people are reacting to probably one of the worst written articles I've ever seen. He said, if people bother to look at the facts, hey, listen to him here. People look at the facts, they would find no wrongdoing. The article did not accurately convey the whole truth of what happened. I absolutely did nothing wrong or unethical. He also got on the topics of human trafficking. I'm sorry, just went blank. He was talking blank. He was talking about human trafficking, and he was talking about how big an issue that really is. And I'm not going to go into all that because I want to get him on the show here pretty soon. Matter of fact, I'm supposed to call his office today to set up a time. He came to me and said, Bill, I haven't been on your show for a while. You got any time? And I said, well, I might be able to find for you, Mr. Attorney General. So we're going to be setting that up today. He said that we have too many people reacting to lies. We have too many people reacting to half-truths. He said, and quote this, he said, the Democrats were reacting to lies. It's easy for them to twist the facts around. I didn't spend 5 seconds thinking about it. He was asked about this incident in Charlottesville that happened this weekend. And he said South Carolina is prepared to handle any protest before major escalation if the situation should arise. And he states that top law enforcement officials here called the events in Charlottesville absolutely evil and unacceptable. Dave, do you like that terminology that he used? I bet you do. And he said the only way to predict and be prepared will be for anything like this to look at how we've reacted in the past. He said, you know, and this is a fact, folks, and you look back in South Carolina, got a lot of compliments from around the nation on this. He said, if you look back at the tragedy at the Mother Emanuel Church, the officer involved shootings around the state. People have come together and rallied around law enforcement here during these hard times. And so we're going to be talking about some of those issues more in depth. We're going to be talking about several other things. And I'll probably boastfully ask him about his plans for the future. I know I'm kind of shy sometimes, but I think I can force myself to do that. But just kind of a little touch of what went on and what we're going to be expecting in the near future. All right, let's check the chat room. I haven't done that in a couple of minutes or so. Let's check and see what's going on here. I thought that was my job in this ivory corner. The anchor is never wrong. The teleprompter, okay. The Charleston 9 will not be the same as the Ativa event. That is absolutely true. It will never be ranked up there as the same by no matter what. But anyway, okay. I made a comment earlier, and I got a text message here about it, about the mainstream media out there trying to destroy Trump. That's all that matters. And this was from someone in New Jersey. It just has a handle. Okay. Show me proof otherwise. That's all I'm going to say. Show me proof otherwise that mainstream media is not out to degrade, diminish his integrity, slam dunk the president. Show me in any of these major mainstream media outfits we're talking about, the liberal ones, you know, the right side do say a few good things about him, but the liberal ones that lean more liberal, would you please provide me with, let's say one article per month that he's been president? Now, see, that's not that asking too many questions there, is it? That's not asking too hard of a question. Provide me one article per month per each liberal outfit we're talking about that lends any indication of support of Donald Trump or any of the actions that he's trying to accomplish. That shouldn't be that hard of a challenge. And if you want to do that, anybody, I'm not just going to limit it to this one person who does not have a real name on here, by the way. I'm not going to limit it to that one person. I want everyone to do it. Here's my email address, or you can Facebook message me. Either way, put it in a message. But my email, in the Pickle Barrel, all one word, in the Pickle Barrel at SC, stands for South Carolina, in case you can't understand English. The English down south, that is. In the Pickle Barrel at sc.rrrailroad.com. Okay? If you can show me one article per month from a liberal media outfit that supports anything Donald Trump says, send it to me. I want to see it. I want to read it. I want to celebrate. Can we do that? I don't know if we can. I'll be waiting. I'll be checking my mailbox all day long. I promise you I will. And I will reply. And I will share it on this program. Because I think everybody would like to hear some good news from a liberal media outlet. A major media outlet. But I do think destroying Donald Trump is all that matters in the newsrooms of the mainstream media. I'm sorry I have to say that, but I do. And rarely in my entire career have I seen so much baloney, BS, bad stuff going on in mainstream media. That's all I'm going to say about that one. We're going to move on to something else. Because I do have a plethora, Southern boy using a big word there, a plethora of things to talk about. Okay. All right. I made a comment in the promotion of the show. Donald Trump has filed for re-election. How many of y'all knew that? Dave, did you know that?
Yes, I knew that.
Okay. When did he file for re-election?
That I don't know. Yesterday, day before, wherever it was.
The day he took office. Yep.
No, I don't think he officially signed the paperwork at that point, did he?
I don't know about signing the paperwork, but he declared that he was going to run for election. He wanted to set the matter straight right away. And so, I don't know if it was on paper or if it's all verbal, but the bottom line is he said he's going to run for re-election. And I've said over and over again since then, too, that I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't. But that's my opinion. The technicality of the fact is he did say he's going to run for re-election. And there's been more than once he's referred to, by the time I finish my second term, folks, I'm telling you, anything's possible. Anything's possible. And I will, wait a minute, right here it says, Trump filed for re-election the day he took office, an unusual move that has allowed him to begin campaigning along before the November 2020 election. Historically, incumbent presidents have waited 2 years until the midterm elections do that. Okay. Now then, let's see, what source was this? That was Routers. That's so-so. That's pretty dependable. But we'll verify that just to make sure. I think that will, I bet you somebody's looking that up right now. Okay. Bottom line is, if he did, maybe he's serious about running for re-election. So, folks, if you like the man, hurrah, hurrah. If you don't, boo-hoo, boo-hoo. We're going to have more of the same, okay? An area right now where we're going to find out how people really do feel about Trump in a given state is Alabama. They got a Senate race going on there. And they are going to the polls today, I believe it is, if I'm not mistaken. And, Trump has come out actively endorsing him. And I think that, this is the Phil Jeff Sessions seat before you forget, okay? This is the Phil Jeff Sessions seat. I think that this is going to be a testament of what people really feel about Donald Trump and his endorsements. So there's several people running, and I think it's going to be very interesting to see how this comes out. Sean, I will tell you this. I do know Sean Hannity, Fox News, have gravitated, is a word that I heard one word used, to Brooks hard stance on immigration, which he's one of those that are out there bam, bam, bam on immigration. And he has real close ties to Mitch McConnell, give or take whatever you want to on that. But Trump still reiterated his support for Strange in a automated phone call to voters yesterday. So who knows? Who knows? He's getting active in those state elections. He knows the importance of holding on to our seats. He does. He does. So it's going to be very interesting to see what goes on there. Okay. Today, if he hasn't done it already, someone let me know if you're aware if he's done it, because I haven't been watching the teleprompters or anything, the screens, the TVs. I got them all off. Trump is supposed to sign an executive order on infrastructure projects. This is something people have been waiting on for a long time. And we're going to find out, indeed, if that does take place today. I feel it will. I think that it's a good thing. I think that the executive order, he made a comment to it about how it's going to be establishing discipline and accountability in the environmental review. And I'm reading this because I couldn't remember all this. Establishing discipline and accountability in the environmental review and permitting process for infrastructure projects. This came from a White House statement yesterday, if you didn't see that. And it is anticipated that he will be doing this in Trump Tower. Of course, you know, he's there now, right now. I think he's planning on being there and for the next week or two at least, until the work is being done at the White House. I believe that was his intent. So, but no one else has given any additional information about that executive order at this time, as far as I know. I have not been able to find a copy of it or anything, so we'll wait and see what it has to say. Now, I do know that part of it is a project to help privatize air traffic control systems. And strengthen the rural infrastructures in there, and some things, when I'm talking about rural infrastructure and repair bridges, roads, waterways, things like that. Now, as far as the details, don't know anything beyond that. So anyway, Trump did say that one of the biggest obstacles to new infrastructure projects was the painfully slow, costly, and time-consuming process for getting permits and approvals to build. And by gosh, I tell you what, I got mixed emotions about that, folks. I really do. I got mixed emotions about this because right here in South Carolina, we're going through one hell of a fight. And it's going to be one heck of a fight for who knows how long with these nuclear plants that's going under. With the billions and billions and billions of dollars that have already been spent on this. Matter of fact, there's already been enough spent on it right now that originally it was estimated cost to finish them would be. Now they're saying that they're calling it off because they need at least $20 billion more. That is one big mess up, folks. That is one big mess up. It's going to be interesting to see where that goes. I am following this topic very closely. And you will know what I find out when I find out. Okay, so anyway, that's one of the other ideas and things going on out there. I'm not going to linger on that much, and we'll see what takes place there. Okay, some of the other things going on is a probe that was done about work environments. You know, we do topics on anything and everything around here, as you know. This was a study that was done on the American workplace, and they said that they are in a grueling, stressful, and surprisingly hostile position. Nobody's realized this before this study, right? Again, Mr. Sarcasm here, okay? All right. Now, this study was done by Harvard Medical School and the University of California, Los Angeles. Amongst this study, here's some of the things they found out about the American worker in the workplace. One, nearly 1 in 5 workers participate in the study cause disturbingly high, say they face a hostile or threatening environment at work. Now, under this scenario comes several different topics, okay? Under this hostile environment at work, there is sexual harassment, bullying, workers having to face customers to endure disproportionate share of abuse. In other words, they can take the abuse from the customer, but they can't give any back. Nearly 55% say they face unpleasant and potentially hazardous conditions. Folks, if that's right, then there's something wrong. And so, you know, we'll see where that goes from here, but I find that very interesting that 55%, I'd like to know where all these people were surveyed from. I want to try to find this survey and look at it myself. But they say that 55% work in unpleasant and potentially hazardous conditions. Nearly 3/4 of these people say they spend at least 1/4 of their time on the job in tense or repetitive physical labor. Well, again, what type of job do you have? You know, that intense and physical, repetitive physical labor, you know, if you're working a coal mine, yeah. You know, if you're working on an oil field, yeah. If you're working a secretarial professional assistant in a, you know, you got to be politically correct these days, in an office, may be repetitive, but is it physical? Keyboard, turning the page of paper. I don't know how physical that is. Explain that one to me. Telecommuting is rare. 78% say they are required to be present in their workplace during working hours. Poor people. You got to be in your office to work. However, folks, you know and I know more and more people are doing their job at home. I'm talking about full-time jobs. I know people that work at the hospital where my wife works. They have a large number of people that do their work at home via the computer. That allows that to take place. And I know some companies that have suggested and are talking about converting a lot of their workforce to this type of situation. They say it saves us office space, where we can use that office space for people that actually need to be there. And you can do your job at home, because most of it's done on the computer anyway. And you can do your job at home. And it doesn't matter if you do it 8 hours, Monday through Friday, from 8 to whatever, or if you do it from 7 to 7 in the 7 in the morning, 7 in the evening. You can do it at midnight. As long as the job is done in a timely manner, guess what? You can schedule your work and your time of your family or whatever else you want to do your own way. I actually know someone that does this, and Matter of fact, works with my wife. We were on a road trip recently, believe it or not, and she gets a text mail. No, I'm sorry, an email, and it's from this employee who had a question. She was doing some of her work. Guess what? She was on a road trip also. So she was doing her road work on her road trip. Thanks technology. I love it. I love it. I can't tell you how many shows I've done on the road. Some of them actually going down the road. You know, you don't have to be looking at the microphone. If you're talking, you know, I can go drive down the road and this Bill Pickle, welcome, you're in the Pickle Barrel, and usually not hit anything, haven't hit anything yet. And you know, I have pulled over many times at rest stops and did a live show from the rest stop. Put the top down on a little red, turn the sound up on the radio. I've got it going Bluetooth through the radio, and do interviews right there at the rest stop. During the Trump election, everyone knows I did several of those, and people would gather around the car. You know, there may be one or two, three at a time, and there was one, I couldn't count the people. We were standing around, and people were talking openly and freely. Some of them was even having fun. So that's another thing I think is good. I think this is an excellent idea. If people can do it, if they've got the self-determination and self-control, they're motivated, dedicated to do their work, what difference does it make what key and what computer they type it on? As long as it's secure as can be. I think it's a great idea. So anyway, those are some of the things that people are still worried about their jobs. And, you know, I understand it. Let me back up here. I understand you can be unhappy with your job. I've been unhappy with more than one job in my career. And some of them I hung around there, not because I wanted to, but because I needed to. It was a job after all. I was getting paid. I wasn't on unemployment or food stamps or anything like that. I still used my time wisely as I considered other positions. I still worked. I still cared for my family. I didn't just up and quit because I was mad. I looked at the big picture. Moolah, dinero, money coming in for bills, for care of the family, for rent, for food, for car payments was still very important to me. Thank God there's only been like one time, two times, that I actually looked for a job. By the grace of the man upstairs or whatever, I never had to actually look for a job that much. I was asked, would you consider coming to work for us? Knock on wood. I think that's great, and I thank you very much for the ability to do that. I was offered a position yesterday. Graciously took my name off the list. Might have been fun, though. Changed my lifestyle too much. But the bottom line is, folks, you know, just like anything else, a lot of times your position, your, I'm going to try to be polite here. The heck with it. Sometimes what happens at your job may be your problem. Yes, I know. We don't want to take blame. We don't want to take personal responsibility, but sometimes it can be. I'm not saying that it's always, but sometimes it can be, right? Admit it. Just say yes, I admit I may have instigated or added to this problem. Maybe if I'd have done this right, maybe I hadn't took the shortcut. Anyway. All right. Anyway, there we go. Okay. Couple other things real quick. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, we still got 25, 30 minutes. We got time to talk about some more stuff here. Let me find a little different thing here. Oh, Dunford. Oh, wait a minute. I got some. I want to talk about General Dunford. He's the the general that is pressing Donald Trump to continue the pressure on Korea. Oh, by the way, in case you've missed it, and if you have, it's because you just haven't been paying attention to anything on news or anything like that. The North Koreans have more or less said, maybe, just maybe, we're speaking a little too boldly. Maybe we really don't need to be considering. This was just in fun. That's not the words they're using, but they're trying to say, oops, we may have bit off more than we can handle here. Now they're saying, well, we have no intentions of hitting Guam or anywhere. They kind of stepped down the rhetoric a little bit. But General Dunford, he's the top military officer and senior American commander in South Korea, vowed to press ahead with planned military drills with Seoul this month, despite claims by the North that such exercises are directed and is intentionally threatening his regime. But he says, I think we still need to continue with this. We need to make sure our troops are prepared, that they are well-tuned. You got to have that well-oiled, well-tuned machine to make it run right? And so he wants to make sure his guys and gals there are up to snuff. They're ready to go in case anything does happen. And I think that's part of being prepared. You got to play the game. I think it is just ridiculous how the mainstream media took all this and ran with it anyway. But then at the same time, we got to admit now that we had a president that was giving them plenty of fodder to feed on. And so that's a two-way street there, okay? Let's face it. You got to admit it. Okay. This drill, by the way, is not something that is new. They do these drills annually, okay? This is something that is not new. We got, I don't know the exact number, but I do know it's over 28,000 troops over there. Last I heard, it was over 28,000. I'm sure we haven't brought too many home. So, that's not a small number of people, folks. That's not a small number of people. We've had Brian, who calls into the show quite often, talking about why don't we pull those people home? Why don't we pull our people out of Europe? Blah, 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 blah. Well, there's pros and cons to that, and we don't have the hours it takes to really thoroughly discuss that. But my opinion, they need to be there right now, like it or not. I don't like it, but I think they need to be there. Okay, so that's that, and we'll move on from there. Let's see here. This is not news. This is idiocracy. Okay? But I want to bring it up. It's not real up-to-date news. Well, it may be. You may not have seen it or heard of it. Procter & Gamble. I guess and I don't know. Dave, have you seen their new ad?
not that I can think of.
Okay. Every once in a while I do. And once every 2 or 3 weeks, I'll even stop into the talk. Dun, 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 dun. The talk. Dun, 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 dun. The talk. Why in the heck would I do that? I mean, you talk about a show that means absolutely nothing except generating hate and disgust and separatism. I mean, that show is it, folks. That show is it. But anyway, they've got a very simple message, and it's a simple message. Beware of racism in the United States. Okay? Well, in this ad, Procter & Gamble, they took a very calculated risk on this. I want to tell you that. I think it's a very calculated risk. They took a risk, and in this ad, it's got this young lady, a black lady, okay? Let me specify that to start with. Loud and clear. African-American, black, I don't care. Either name, to me, is respectful. Okay? Anyway, she's sitting in a car, all right? And, you know, here she is. She's a young lady. She's looking out the window. She's got her glasses on. It's rainy. You got rain spots all over the car windows and everything. And it's talking about, it appears to me, it does, it's anti-police and anti-white. Can you imagine that being on the talk? That's not hard to imagine if you've ever seen that show. Sometimes, you know, I get tired of watching the same old reruns of different comedies. You know, I try to watch comedies sometimes during the day to kind of just chill. And sometimes I'll even watch the talk because I consider it a comedy show. I really do, folks. I really do. And no offense to anybody that likes it. And yes, they do talk about some things that are really serious and issues that need to be addressed, but not the way they do it, in my humble opinion. But anyway, Procter & Gamble is talking about doing this, and what they're doing is they're trying to make it, this ad was actually released online last month, I believe it was, so you may be able to find it. But what they're doing, the mother is telling her daughter, it tells her daughter she is not just pretty for a black girl, as someone told the girl, but beautiful, period. And what this indicates to me is somebody somewhere made a comment, you know, for a black person, you're not a bad worker. For a black person, you're not bad looking. For a black person, you're beautiful. Folks, why do we even need to go down that road? Now, I'll tell you, if someone really did that, they need to be hit beside the face with a wet noodle. I'm not saying you got to shoot them or stab them. Not stand in your way. Don't stand in front of your car blocking the traffic or anything like that. You may get run over. But I'm saying at least they ought to be slapped with a wet noodle and say, hey, look, beauty is beauty. Red, yellow, black, or white. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. I tell you what's hard to describe is the ugliness that's inside people. You know, I've seen some very beautiful women. I've seen some men that people would probably consider handsome. But inside of them, I have seen a different person. I have seen a gut-wrenching, hateful individual, self-centered individual, people that don't care anything about themselves. So, you know, I don't care if you're red, yellow, black, or white. If you're beautiful, you're beautiful. And if you got a good heart, you got a good heart. And I really don't care if I'm offending anybody here or not. But, you know, there's just as many mean and hateful white people as there are mean and hateful black people. There's just as many beautiful black people as there are beautiful white people. Oh, by the way, let's throw in some Hispanics. Let's throw in some Cuban Americans. Let's throw in some of these others, you know. All right. I was just going to mention that ad. I didn't mean to get into a lecture or anything there, but I did, didn't I? See how easy that is? It is so easy to do that. All right. A couple of other things real quick. Transgender camp. Transgender camp. Did you realize that there are such thing as a transgender camp for kids? Yes. This particular camp I'm talking about is one in California, El Cerrito, California. And it was a summer camp that was specifically designed for kids who has a problem with their sexual orientation, their build, their transgender, okay? So anyway, this camp is there. And it's there to teach kids that they're normal. They're not alone. Now then, do I have a problem with this camp? Fellow conservatives, you may not like this, but no, I do not. No, I do not. If this problem is the way it appears it is, if this issue is as deep as it sounds like it is, and I know some people that are transgender, I do not question them, and sometimes I want to. Sometimes I want to. And matter of fact, I'm going to. By gosh, I'm going to approach the question with them and see if they're willing to talk about it. Help me understand. Personally, I don't know why I need to understand. I have no problem with it. I do not understand what is in here or the genes of somebody's body. I'm not talking about the blue genes. I'm talking about the human genes. I don't know what makes up this mentality, this issue of I don't know if I'm a male or a female in the brain, in the heart. Physically, I can tell the difference, okay? Trust me. I've had kids. I know that things aren't the same, okay? But what's in here, the head, and what's in the heart, is hard to understand sometimes. And I'm not going to condemn anybody for anything if I can't understand what's going on. Some things is very obvious. The hate and the disgust and the way they act out those things is pretty obvious that they're doing something wrong, and they may need help up here. They may need the help in prison too. But anyway, the different story, different time. But anyway, this camp is to help them to understand who they are, what they are, and intermingle with people like them. So while different, you know, so be it. So be it. You know what? There's a few parents there that must think the same way. Oh, by the way, for the right side, I do know a couple of people who's transgender, active in the Republican Party. Oh, yeah. And I imagine most of you do. You may not know it, but I bet you most of you do. Okay? So, anyway, like I said, Manic Monday. Manic Monday. Okay. Local people, this is for you. Local people. Hey, Harbor Freight, if you haven't heard, Saturday made the announcement that they are going to expand the Dillon plant. They're talking about almost doubling the size of that, and it will raise the employment out there by quite a bit. See there, we're getting all kinds of good news on new plants expanding, new plants coming in the area. Folks, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And so keep those jobs, keep those plants coming, and we'll be eternally grateful for every one of you that move your business here or expand the business that you have here already. Okay. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Let's see here. I had something else here that I want to show you or share with you. Oh, the teachers. There's a, if you're a teacher, you know this already. If you're a parent, you may not know how bad this situation is. Folks, we're having a hard time finding teachers to go to the classroom. There's a teacher shortage. There's a teacher shortage. Just give you an example right here in our hometown. Florence School District 1. Folks, I don't care if you're in this district or not. Listen to this. No matter where you're at, listen to this. In-state, out-of-state. Schools nationwide are finding it more difficult to hire new teachers. Schools are having a hard time holding on to teachers. And particularly not those who are wanting or nearing retirement, but new teachers. There's a lot of young ladies and young men that go to school to be teachers and come out in the first year or two find out, well, this is not what I was expecting. Right now, just in the one school district right here, Florence District 1, school is about to start, folks. Schools are about to start. And they still have 13 openings for teachers and no prospects. They are out there pounding the bushes for teachers. From January of last year and until the school board meeting this month, there was 107 seats that needed to be filled. They still have 17 to fill, 13 to fill. They've got most of them filled, but still short 13 teachers. Now remember, 13 teachers doesn't mean 13 classes, because a lot of teachers will teach more than one class, especially if you're in schools where they rotate. So that means there could be a lot of people out there without teachers, or maybe using substitute teachers. And in South Carolina, unless they changed the law since I looked at it last, you do not have to be a certified teacher to substitute, because really all they need is someone to babysit the class that day. And that's being sarcastic too, folks. That's being sarcastic. But that tells me there's something wrong with the system. There's something wrong with the process. Maybe there's something wrong with the whole idea that the main job of teaching really isn't the main job of teaching anymore. The main job of teaching is babysitting, playing referee, making sure you don't offend anybody, making sure you don't say something harsh to a student that'll get taken the wrong way, or maybe should be taken the wrong way, but yet it goes home and the parents come up and complain. Maybe the teachers aren't allowed to teach. You know, I know a lot of career teachers, some of them retired, some of them not, wishing they were, because they cannot teach anymore. Just want to throw that in there to round things off. All right. Well, I hate to tell you, I got some more things I could blab about, but our time is up. Folks, I appreciate all of you that join us in the chat room and Facebook Live. Folks, listen to me. Thank you so much. We've got several people in the chat room this morning on Facebook Live. Glad to have y'all here. Thank you so much. Be sure to invite your friends and neighbors and loved ones, even the ones you hate, to join us here in the Pickle Barrel tomorrow morning. We'd appreciate it. We've got a lot going on here at APR. And before I sign off, Dave, tell everybody what's up next here on American Patriot Radio.
Still yet to come today, Kids Corner, followed by Happy Hour, more Kids Corner, and Chuck Scold's Golden Age of Radio, plus the repeats throughout the late evening hours in case you're on the West Coast and happen to miss some of the early morning programs.
All right. Always something going on here in the Pickle Barrel and AmericanPatriotRadio.com, folks. Seriously, I do want to ask each and every one of you, please, this show will be posted later on Facebook, and then it will go to our YouTube channel, American Patriot Radio YouTube channel. And share this program, share the other programs, invite everybody to go to our website and join in, and they'll have access to all of these places, and they too can take part in everything and anything we do. Until tomorrow morning, y'all have a safe day. Thank you for joining us, and keep on holding the faith, folks. Sooner or later, we're going to find a way out of this pickle barrel that we're in, and things will get better. And also remember, America is great. There are worse places you could be living. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us. You've been in the Pickle Barrel with author, speaker, commentator, and show host, Bill Pickle.
You are listening to American Patriot Radio.
Bye-bye, folks.